Everyone's slowly coming back on.
Yeah,
I think our internet crashed here at the office.
the whole office went down briefly, so
Oh,
I think we're coming back.
okay. Okay.
So, well, sorry about that. That was
Oh,
a little surprising for everybody here.
yeah. Technology is great as long as it works.
Well, in the interest of keeping things moving here, I will go ahead and share my screen to start the work program discussion. And although I will say, following Wayne's retirement announcement is a tough act to follow with moving this forward, but we'll soldier on. I hope everyone, well, first of all, I thank everyone for hanging around after the commission meeting and participating in the work program committee and helping move this process forward. We very much appreciate your time and dedication to reviewing these materials and helping us make sure that we develop a work program that provides service for all of our local governments and can provide assistance for your projects where we can. I hope everyone has had a chance to review the draft of the work program document that I sent out yesterday. We will spend a little time going briefly over the projects now, just to provide a little bit of a review on these materials. As kind of the caveat is always for where we stand right now is what we'll primarily be doing is just looking at the content of the projects. There are hours associated with the projects, but these are still draft hours as we work through the final elements of our budget for fiscal year 22. But this does represent the projects we will be taking on, even as the hours may change a little bit. It's also just worth a reminder that this work program reflects all of the non-transportation projects. So most of you have submitted projects that fall under the urban or rural transportation program. So you won't see those projects here. Those will be approved through the UPWP and the rural transportation program process. And those are kind of moving their way through the system over the next month. Hopefully at the end of today, what we'll be able to do is if you approve the work program as drafted, this will move on to be approved, accepted by the whole commission in May, when we accept the entire work program.
Jeremy?
Hello.
I think the commission locked up on the Zoom.
Yep. He mentioned they were having some problems.
That's what it sounds like. I guess that's one benefit of being at home. That hasn't happened to me yet.
Oh, you lucky dog, you. So basically, these regional support activities, they're usually the same ones every year in that part of the document. And the local support activities seem to be the new projects. Is that kind of what I discern from this? Brian, do you know?
Yes and no, Mr. North. A lot of time spent. I think the first one that you saw was a project that a board that I staff. It's the Blue Ridge Interagency Council on Homelessness, and that's an annual obligation that we have. That council is sort of housed underneath the umbrella of the regional commission. So we work with the continuum of care, and so that's an annual thing. There are, I guess, on the whole, more regional things that are reoccurring, and of course we do have projects that that are regional in nature that do come up that are unique, like the housing study, for example. That was one such thing.
Right. Yeah, y'all did a good job on that project, and the CTE study that was done, and I-81 study a couple of years ago. Jeremy, you back?
Yes.
I am sorry about that. This is not a great day for technology for me here.
Those things happen in technology.
Yeah, I apologize for that. Let me get this document open back up there. So I'm sorry about that, but let's go ahead and move through this. And I know in the interest of time, we'll try to be efficient in reviewing these projects. So the first section of the document, these are all projects that serve 2 or more localities, so the regional project section. And a lot of these, as you'll see, are standing obligations that we have every year for managing various processes or grants. The first, this is the Blue Ridge Interagency Council on Homelessness. This is work we do every year with coordinating various human services groups, mostly a matter of holding meetings, providing a space for these folks to talk, and coordinating other projects as they come up, but it's a relatively small program. The Commuter Assistance Program, this is something we do every year. I decided to include it in the work program this year since it's not one of the PL or FTA transportation projects, but it is a regional project that serves everyone. So as a matter of formality, we wanted to make sure it was included in the work program. But this is the carpool matching, commuter, and employer assistance that comes through the annual work through the Ride Solutions Commuter Assistance Program. The CEDS, the Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy, this is our ongoing work with developing and maintaining that plan that Eddie leads. This is funded through EDA dollars, and many of you are involved one way or another in the CEDS process. So this is our obligation to continue that work. The Chesapeake Bay Watershed Planning, this is DEQ dollars that covers a lot of the Chesapeake Bay work, primarily in our rural localities. And this is led by Gabriel Irigari, and is a continuing project through DEQ with managing that grant. The next 2 items are general technical assistance and grant writing. These are catch-alls for ways to handle projects and requests that come up throughout the year. And as you can see, for example, through the technical assistance, there's a number of funding sources that provide some space for us to be able to do requests that come up, small projects, grant writing requests, and so forth that come up throughout the year. This is one of the ways sometimes if we can't do a work program request, or it's a relatively small work program request, we will tend to handle it under the technical assistance grant. But this provides space for you to make requests for us throughout the year to be able to do projects as they come up. Our Implant economic analysis, this is ongoing projects. This is often funds things like our economic impacts of the arts programs, and other kinds of studies that come up throughout the year. This is also something that we will occasionally contract other PDCs or localities to do work on some specific study or economic impact project. The redistricting support, this did come through as a work program request from Allegheny County, and this is going to cover the redistricting post-census analysis that will need to be done. This includes Allegheny, Craig, and Covington in this particular work program request, and that will be led by Matt Miller. Of course, it will trigger whenever we get the census, the 2020.
Locked up again.
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
You know, I was gonna on page 8 that he was on right there, that redistricting support. They're not going to get that data probably until the end of September. That's what I've heard. I'm not sure it's going to be time enough to do much good in terms of elections, but you know, that economic impact analysis, I suppose if the request was to measure the impact of technical schools in the area like Roanoke County's burden, that they might be able to help with that too. Hey, Brian.
Yes.
I'm not asking for this now, but in the future, if someone came along and said, hey, measure the impact that a technical school has on the local economy, that plan economic impact analysis software might help. Is that what I understand?
I would think so. I would think it at least would provide with some projections. I don't know to what, and I'll tell you, Matt is the Matt and Eddie are the Implant folks, but I would definitely say that would feed into making some definite assumptions and some recommendations. Yeah, I do know that, and I don't think Jeremy mentioned it, but I do know that we do partner with, I think of course the localities, but I think the partnership as well, and provide assistance with Implant on various things with them. So I know it's a tool that John and company over at the partnership really find useful.
Yeah. Wayne, are you there now? Hey, Wayne, can you hear us?
He's not muted, but I don't think he hears us.
Hello, Wayne.
We know what we need? There is a line of broadband authority 1 block from here. We need to just spend the money and run that line and get 10 gigabytes right into our office.
They're going to put a transmitter in your office when you retire.
Well, I don't know why. We went through the whole commission, the TPO meeting, and
there's Jeremy.
This has been a bit of a fiasco today. I think something might have happened to our internet connection here at the office because Zoom keeps kicking me off. I have, as a backup, just sent Brian, who is not in the office and maybe having a more stable connection. I sent him the document. So if Zoom kicks me off again and third time's the charm, then he should at least be able to review the document with you. So again, I apologize for the hassle surrounding this. And Brian, I hope it won't come to that. Hopefully Zoom will be nice, but you should at least have it.
Sure.
So just to continue where I left off or was forced off, the next several projects from the Blueway mapping, the Urban Forestry Council, leadership collaboration, food system planning, down to, let's see, the Triple Crown. All of these next projects are ongoing management projects that are standing work that we do either through grants that we receive, funding that we receive from the localities, and just other ongoing work. So this is largely work that has carried over for the past several years. None of these represent new projects for this year. I'm just going to scroll down to where we get to some of the newer stuff to save some time here. So the next section, these are the local support activities. So these are the work program requests that support a single locality, and these represent the bulk of the new requests that we received for fiscal year 22. So these are the projects that we are recommending coming out of this year's work program process. The first Allegheny County hazmat plan update. This is falling under ARC to assist Allegheny County update their hazardous materials response plan. So we are recommending moving forward with that project. The Allegheny County Economic Impact of Outdoor Recreation. This follows a number of similar economic impact plans, such as the impact of the arts, I think that we're working on this year in Allegheny County. So looking at outdoor recreation, trails, kayaking, etc., largely using the Implant software. So we are recommending to move forward with that plan. The Bonnetta County Greenfield Preservation Support. This represents some ongoing work that we are already doing with Bonnetta this year, and we'll continue to support them on the Greenfield preservation into fiscal year 22. The next Town of Clifton Forge Pine Street Roastery Planning Grant. This is just to assist on making and managing a CDBG planning grant to look at land use along Pine Street and Rose Street in Clifton Forge. We've also been asked to look at the Jefferson School and Industrial Park reuse plan. So these are two separate sites in Clifton Forge that we will assist with, likely also planning grant applications and so forth. To look at these two sites, look at potential uses and marketing plans for them. Covington Downtown Revitalization. This again represents a continuing project that we are currently working on with Covington and our continued support for managing that grant and assisting them on their revitalization project. The Craig County Zoning Ordinance. This is a new request this year to help them specifically look at some potential housing zoning changes for mother-in-law cottages and looking at solar farm opportunities. And so we are recommending approving that project. Both of these, Franklin County, the Housing Comprehensive Plan chapter and the Housing Survey, are elements ongoing of an existing housing plan project that we are working on with Franklin County. We are looking at some opportunities to maybe move the Housing Survey project into this fiscal year to assist with moving some work on that forward. We're simply looking at what our hours opportunities are, but we're recommending keeping these in the work program and approving them for fiscal year 22, so we can make sure they are budgeted. And then if the opportunity arises to tackle the survey earlier, we can do so. The Franklin County Trail Counters. This also represents a bit of a continuing project with mountain bike trails that we've been doing in Franklin County, but looks at establishing and measuring, monitoring trail counters. So some field work involved with this project in Franklin County for Franklin County Parks and Rec. The City of Roanoke Bike Ped Support. This actually represents ongoing work we've been doing with the City of Roanoke for a number of years with a separate funding source, simply helping them specifically with bike and ped outreach and planning. This has helped, for example, with the city's DMV grant safety project, the Every Corner is a Crosswalk earlier this year, and another safety grant on safe travel speeds that they will be happening towards the end of this year and into next year. The Rocky Mount Commuter Assistance. This came through as actually a separate request from Franklin County to look at employment access to PlyGem and another similar group of employers in the Rocky Mount area. But this falls under the Ride Solutions Commuter Assistance Program. So we wanted to kind of break this out for special attention to make sure it got noted in the work program that we will have a special part of our program committed to working on the employer outreach and commuter assistance for job access in Rocky Mount. Town of Vinton Planning Grant. So this is assisting Vinton on another CDBG grant. So ongoing work on applying for that grant and assisting on the management team. And that represents the end of the local projects. But you can at your leisure see on the last page of the draft is our other activities. These represent ongoing boards, committees that we may serve on, other sorts of projects that are just ongoing work, but not necessarily work program items. So that is the draft work program. I apologize for rushing through that quite so fast. I wanted to make sure to comment before Zoom kicked me off again. But are there any initial questions, thoughts, concerns about the work program draft as presented?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, may I, were there other requests that were not recommended for approval?
There were, I think, just one or two that were not recommended for approval in this project, partly because they were either just out of our capacity. For example, we were not able to help Covington on their city sewer request to the extent that probably the project requested, though under the general technical assistance, we expect to be able to provide some level of help. So there really wasn't very much that we weren't able to accept at one level or another.
Thank you.
And again, a number of these are falling under, a number of our requests fall under the transportation program. So you won't see them here. You'll see them on the UPWP or the Rural Transportation Program.
Bill, I might mention that they turned down a request from Vinton to investigate the mayor's salary, see if it couldn't increase it, but
That was a political minefield, Mr. Mayor. We didn't
yeah,
get involved in that.
right about that, brother.
Hey, welcome to the world. They did a reassessment in Roanoke County and they nailed everybody, including the supervisors.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I thought we needed to smile there for a while.
So we need to do anything on this, Jeremy, other than just be brief?
So what we'll do next is with your approval, we will take this to the full commission board in April to be accepted as the work program for next year.
We actually typically take that to the commission in May.
Mhm.
That's done before we adopt the budget. This is a chance to review this, and then what we'll do is have a very quick meeting in April, and we need to have the work program committee officially recommend this to the commission.
Jeremy, this is Joan Van Orsdal from Allegheny County. I have just a couple questions. The Town of Clifton Forge Pine Street, Rose Street Planning Grant, is that, I know that there was a major water line break that's been patchworked together. Is that assistance addressing that water line replacement?
No, it's not, Joan. This is Pam. I'm sorry, Jeremy.
Oh, hey, Pam. I didn't
Hi.
realize. Okay, good.
We have applied for a separate grant for the water main break. This particular one is specifically for Pine Street and or Rose Street, as we did with Roxbury. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and the grant for the water line replacement, is that a CDBG grant too? I think it is.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And just generally, since I haven't been active on this committee before, I'm just curious to know how the proposals this year compared in number and in type to previous years. I know there are some that are recurring, but did anything stand out to any of you who have been doing this for a while about the proposals?
In terms of numbers, we received about the same total number of proposals as we have in previous years. This is my second year sort of managing this process, so I'm not sure in terms of content how different it might be, but my sense is that it squares broadly with the kinds of projects, your grant assistance, community development and so forth that we have tended to get. in past years. As always, there's certain things that we can't do with engineering sorts of projects and architecture, and we will often get something that has more of that than we're able to do. But some of the other staff might know better, but my sense is that this is on par.
Yeah,
Okay,
this is about right. We normally get, Ms. Vanderzal, we normally get, we'll have at any point in time 30-something projects.
Mhm.
And years ago, I guess it was 15, 18 years ago, the commission said, we want your regional commission, so you should be doing regional things. So you'll find it, a good part of the resources go to multi-jurisdictional projects.
Yeah.
We always set aside funds or resources to accommodate requests from individual member governments. So you'll see that's what Jeremy was just going over.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
So kind of back to what Wayne was saying, as far as any action the committee needs to take today, Jeremy, it's just a recommendation to forward this to the commission. Is that right?
Right.
Yes.
If everybody feels comfortable, you can do that, make the motion, but we can recommend it to the commission now. It probably won't go to the commission until May, but you could take care of that right now and not have a meeting in April.
So moved.
Oh, man. Well, that's what I was thinking, since we have the information in front of us,
No, I think it looks good. I think it's a good plan that kind of spreads out throughout the whole regional area and accomplish a lot of good things.
Yes, it's got regionality all over it.
And I think even a lot of the local projects, we all benefit when some of the jurisdictions that maybe don't have as much of a planning staff or engineering staff or whatever as the larger ones, when they do these kind of projects, it helps all of us, because we don't want to see any of these localities, have the kind of problems that they're trying to deal with here.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good point, Bill. Yeah. Well, Wayne, I don't know if you were here earlier. As you know, Billy is chairman of this committee, but since he wasn't here, I just kind of stuck my big mouth in there. So
I got an email from Mr. Martin. He said, whatever you guys think is best. So, so I think you could go ahead and if we have a motion from Mr. Bestpitch. I guess we need a second or someone.
I'll second Joan
Okay.
Van Orkel.
All right. Do we need to do a roll call or
No,
can we
sir.
just?
We won't do this in a committee like this. No.
All right. Everybody in favor, wave, just so we got a consensus here. There we go. All right.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you very much. And we will, as I said, this is a draft, so there might be some final tweaking on the hours, and we will send that final document out to you once it's developed, but the content itself should not change.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good committee, man. I tell you, good committee.
Well, thank you very much. And again, my apologies for the technology side of this, but I appreciate your soldiering through with me. And if any questions come up after the fact, please don't hesitate to reach out.